guys, welcome to my channel. Once again, you're tuned into Channel with Azzy. If you are a returning subscriber, I'm more girl, more boys, thank you for coming back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much, guys. I have been seeing the growth that my channel is really like encountering at this point. So today I just want to talk about buying a car for the first time, my encounter of buying a car for the first time. Okay, without further ado, please do make sure you subscribe, you like the video, and you comment below. Let's get straight into the video. So I have been like wanting to get a car. I remember when I was working as Ukomsev, I was like, "Hey man, let me get a car. I can at least work as an agency sister the following year," because that was like a year contract. The following year I can work as an agency sister and I can try and pay off my debt for my car. So I tried to save money, and I told myself, at least if I can pay like deposit, then I can at least like have a low what do they call, premium, okanye low monthly payment that I have to make. All right, sure, fine. But that didn't happen because I had to use the money for like job searching, looking for a job, because I hadn't been working. My last month of work was in January, February, March, April. So February, March, I wasn't working here, and I kept on getting like posts outside Cape Town. So I had to use some of the money to actually travel around and to like eat, rent, wherever I was like going to. I had to kind of like book a B&B or whatever. So that like really used a lot of my money. And also I remember when I went to Mpumalanga, I had to also pay for my mom's flights, and I had to pay for the car that we had booked to take us to Mpumalanga from Johannesburg. So I kind of like used a lot of the money, right? So when I came back, I didn't have a lot. I think I probably had half of the money that I had saved still left here. And then it was a thing of, I came back because I don't want to work in Mpumalanga. I wanted to come back to Cape Town. So I then started looking for a job in Cape Town. That also used a lot of money because I had to travel in between, had to travel to places, to these hospitals. I had to pay for my data, pay for my stuff, so I'm able to even have online interviews. Fine. So eventually imali ndiyisebenza, and I remember when I started working where I'm working now, I had to kind of like, because the whole month you're not getting paid, you're only getting paid at the end of the month. So that means whatever money you have, you use that in order to get you through the month. So basically I was using the money from my savings, and I ended up not having nothing, nada. I didn't have any deposit for my car. So first things first, I started looking around for a car. I had been looking for a car during my comm year, but then because I was under so much pressure, I kept on like looking in the wrong places, like hearing about scams. I almost got scammed. The money I had already saved, because I was seeing cars going for like 65,000. When you're desperate for a car, you could see cars going for 65,000. You see cars going for like cheap, and you're like, what's happening? Why are the cars cheap? You know what I mean? And the people are like, send the money, we'll deliver the car. There's nothing like that, guys. Please do watch out for scammers. That's lesson number one. Watch out for scammers. You will lose your money, right? Because I kept on, there was one that I said to them, let them bring the car. I see the car, and if I like it, then I will pay. Because most of these scams, they always kind of like figure out where you at. They always ask you where you at. So when you ask them where they're based, they'll be like, okay, we're based in Johannesburg, but we can bring the car to you. You just need to make the payment, because we can't bring a car to you and then you don't buy the car. So they will give you the pictures of the car and everything. They'll make you send them the deposit. After sending them the deposit, they disappear. Okay, they disappear. You don't see the car, nothing. Their numbers are not working. The business was never there. You go look at the place. I remember I asked a boy, like my colleague's boyfriend, who lived in George. I was quite far from George, who lived in George, to actually go check out if this is like a real facility. Is it a real dealership, right, where I can purchase a car? He went. He's like, nah, fam. Like, you just send me to like a thin air space. Like, there's just no building here, nothing like that. So that's one way how I found out that some people actually do scam other people for their money. All right, so there's so many questions that you need to kind of like ask the deal, especially if you're making online purchases or like you're looking at cars on Facebook. Or there's nothing wrong with that, guys, but you need to like kind of like keep in mind that you can be scammed quite easily. Like, people have become smarter every day. People are inventing new ways to scam other people of their money, their hard earned money. Yeah, on fine, sure, whatever. Then okay, so then this year I was just like, okay, I'm no longer wanting the fast way to get a car. As soon as I get my contract at work, or as soon as I get a job that's promising, I'm gonna go to the dealership and I'm gonna look for a car, and I am going to do it the right way. At that time, my partner kind of like helped me around looking for a car and told me what to look out for, and we kind of like calculated how much car, like how much of a car do I afford. And yeah, so there's a car that you can buy, there's a car that you afford, right? So being able to buy a car doesn't mean that you actually afford it. Okay, you can be able to buy the you can be able to buy the car, right? But it doesn't mean that you'll be able to live comfortably with that car. So let's say you get a car for like 400,000, right? And then the installment per month will probably be like 6,000, 7,000 per month. You need to ask yourself, will you be able to then do all the other things that you need to do in order to live? Okay, because obviously you can't be living in the car, eating the car, you know what I mean? And the car will also come with like extra stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video. So we had to also consider how much petrol am I willing to spend per month, how much distance am I going to be traveling to work. We had to consider the maintenance of the car. We had to consider, if the parts are available, how much will they cost? Is it an expensive car? Is it a cheap car? Because there are cheap cars, guys. There are cars that don't consume a lot of petrol. The parts are easy accessible and all of that, right? So we had to consider all of those things, and I kept on kind of like forcing things and really just like the dealership people, guys, you guys are smart. They will motivate you to take a car that you don't afford. Like, it don't matter. Like, it don't. I remember I cut off this dealership from Paul because I was like, you guys weren't honest enough to me to tell me that I don't afford this car, because they do the credit check, they do count what you pay per month, they do count all of those things, but they didn't tell me that I don't afford a certain car that I was looking at. I was like, because of that, I don't want to deal with this dealership anymore. And actually, I'm just changing the brand. I'm no longer wanting anything to do with you guys. My lips are dry. Right, got myself some Stony. So I had to consider all of those things. How much can I afford per month? Won't it disturb me when it comes to kind of like having to do other things, other things that you have to pay for every month, your Wi-Fi's, your food, your rent, electricity, all of those things I had to consider. And so luckily my ex-partner is in finance, and he was able to kind of like calculate everything for me. So thereafter I was like, okay, cool. Now I know the car I afford. I know how much I'm willing to pay for a car. At that point, I was the only amount that I could afford, like a car, was a range between 200,000 to 250,000. Okay, from obviously less than that to like 250,000. That's it. No more, no less. So now it kind of like made the search pool quite limited, because then there were certain things that I was looking at. Because you're looking for a car and you just have this broad idea of buying a car, you need to kind of like jot down what can you afford, what can't you afford, what's the number of kilometers you'll be driving, which car is good in petrol, whatever, which car saves up petrol or diesel, whatever. The amount that you're willing to pay per month. You can, guys, you can say, I'm willing to only pay 4,000 rand for my car, I'm willing to only pay 3,000 rand for my car per month. Then it makes the pool a bit smaller, like the search, it makes it a bit smaller, and it focuses on searching cars. Then you can say, okay, these are the cars that I do afford. Which one am I then going for? Then you go for the one that pleases your heart at that point. But I remember when I wanted a car, like I wanted an SUV, child. I wanted the Insta-greasy type of car where I'm just like a showstopper. I wanted that type of car, okay? But then I realized, the cost of living, it's high. It's high, okay? Because these cars are expensive, and then they chow petrol. They chow petrol. So we then decided, you know what, okay, this is the type of car that you afford, from this amount, from like 0 amount to 250, obviously. But then there are costs that are not shown when you're looking at a car. You know, when you go like searching for a car, you see this car is like 100,000, you're like, I afford 100,000, you know? That's not the price. That's, I don't know if it's called retail price or what, but like that's the retail price, and then there's the purchase price, something like that. So another thing is, when the dealerships are kind of like really just like bombarding you with information and stuff, and they're using big words, ask them, can you talk in like a language that I'll be able to understand? Because you get caught off guard. Hey, you don't listen properly, you don't understand certain terms, and you're like, it doesn't matter, I'll think about it after I purchase my car. No, let me understand it now. That was my thing. Like, if you lied to me, I was gonna find out, number one. Number two, I was never gonna deal with your dealership ever again, because I don't want to find myself in debt and not being able to afford a car, you know, and having to kind of like pay for a car that I no longer drive because I had to turn it back. You know what I mean? So yeah, so then I had to analyze, which one do I afford, which one do I not afford. Had to go around to different dealerships. I remember I went to like dealerships in Pearl. At that time I was not even ready to buy a car, but I still went to go check. And then I was driving around in Cape Town. I did a few test drives, you know, figure out what do I like in a car, what's the aesthetic I'm looking for. Sometimes you'll get the aesthetic, but you won't get the price you want. Sometimes you get the price you want and not the aesthetic, you know, or you'll get both. You'll get the price you want and the aesthetic, but it depends. You just need to understand like your priorities. You need to prioritize, right? Fine, sure. Then I had to learn about also the extra things that you have to pay for, like something called VAPs or VAPs, whatever, how I'm gonna write it right here. So you need to consider the VAPs, because if your car is costing like 100,000, your car retails for 100,000, right? But when you purchase it, you've got all the extra things that you need to pay for, like different covers that the dealership will offer, that you can't take the car without those covers, okay? You can't take the car without the what do they call it, like road assistance. For instance, mine, I couldn't take the car without the road assistance and the tracker. So I had to make sure that when I leave the dealership, I've already signed to agree with the side stuff that they actually do charge, okay, that they actually do add on to, right? There's different things, guys. There's a lot of things that they actually put out there, but then some of them you do have a choice of taking, some of them you don't have a choice. You really have to just take the car as it is, with the extra stuff that it comes with from the dealership, okay? And you will ask me, but doesn't the insurance give you a tracker? Yes, but then also from the dealership, the time you leave, you must have a tracker, okay? So once I had like gotten an idea of a car that I afforded and the brand that I wanted, which is a Toyota, because I grew up in a house where we were only driving Toyotas. Like, my parents only had Toyotas, and they didn't have problems with like getting parts and stuff like that. So my parents were like, listen, get a Toyota, girl. Toyota cars are cheap, they're affordable, and they're durable. All right, they stay like forever, okay? Like, I remember when we lost our cars, they were literally old. They were old, you know? And yeah, and that's the car that my parents knew, you know, because you can't depend on like people around you or your partner to stay forever in order to educate you about certain things. So you need a car that, even if you go to the garage where they fix cars, they know about this car. Even if you go to like the malume in the next street and your car has just jammed, he needs to know exactly where to touch, you know what I mean? Especially as a lady, like you won't know how to fix a car or whatever unless you're in mechanics. But if you're like me, I don't even know how to change a tire. Honestly speaking though. So I was just like, okay, cool. I really appreciated like the extra help and the information that I was given. I'm really grateful for it till to this day. And I met Upod Anele from Auto Pedigree, who like really just like understood that I don't want anyone who's gonna be lying to me, because obviously I'm very gullible and I'm very vulnerable. Like, anything that anyone says, I'm going with it, you know? And so he was like, listen, yeah, this is a car in your price range, and I'm not giving you the retail, because I used to say to him, don't give me the retail price, give me the purchase price. Then he's like, okay, you know what? You'll probably pay like 300,000 when it comes with interest and everything for this car. I was like, okay, I'm happy. And then he was like, okay, fill out this form. You need to kind of like fill out a form, send them like a contract and whatever. They do check whether you do afford the car, the affordability check, and they then send you through your things to the banks. And then if you get a bank that approves you, obviously they do tell you that you have a bank that approves you, and whether you are ready to sign the approval of the purchase, right? I don't know what they call it. I was looking for my documents, guys. I'm sorry. I was looking for my documents so that I like reference to the documents, but I can't find them. I actually need to like look properly, because I need those documents to reference to, right? So the offer to purchase, yes, the OTP. So before you sign the OTP, guys, please don't sign the OTP when you don't know, when you're not certain about certain things. Please don't sign the OTP, because once you sign the OTP, you're agreeing to purchasing the car. You're agreeing to purchasing the car. Tell them you need some time. You need some more time. Get some people involved, okay? Get people to assist you. Get umalume kamalume, your great grandfather, your grandfather, your father, your father's brothers. Get everyone to help you. Get them to help you, okay? And if you know anyone in finance, get them to calculate. They put in that Excel calculator of theirs. They calculate that approximately this is the amount you can afford, okay? Because once you sign that OTP, there's no going back, okay? So I had, and also because like my partner then was like, I'm not going to make the decision for you, because I was becoming too dependent on the people that were actually assisting me. I was like, you know? But like, it essentially is your own decision, because no one wants to take the burden of you bought a car and you don't afford it, and now they need to kind of like advise you and help you out, and you know, they can only just help you this far, but you need to make the last decision and say, okay, fine, you know what, I'm taking this car, or I'm not taking this car because of these reasons, you know what I mean? So so basically I was just like, okay, I slept on it, and I had 3 options. So do have options, okay? Do have options. Option 1, option 2, option 3 in the same price range, 3 different cars. The mileage, consider the mileage, consider the year, consider the model, consider different things. Is it an automatic? Is it a manually? You know, consider those things. Consider how many people, what are you going to be using the car for? Consider those things before you sign the OTP. You call the insurances. You just call different insurances, you Google their numbers, you call, and then you try and get quotations. How much will insurance cost you? They consider where you live. They consider if your place is secured, is it gated, whatever. They consider all of those things, right? So you need to be honest. You need to provide a thing with your address and everything, so that they're able to give you a correct quotation. Obviously, if you live like in Dao, that is like more prone to kind of like your car being hijacked and stuff like that, they will cost you a bit higher, okay? But if you're living in a gated area where it's kind of like safe and stuff, your premium goes low. It goes down, okay? So you need to consider those things. You need to consider petrol money and how much excess money can you have, because you need to have money. So when you're taking out an insurance, you need to also consider the excess. They have something called excess here, where it's like if I get into like maybe an accident or something like that, then I will have to pay the excess money, then they pay the rest, right? So my excess at this point is 5.7. So I always need to make sure that I've got a 5.7 in my bank, which I don't have at this point. But that's besides the point. So I have to always have money in excess, so that if anything happens and the insurance is like, you need to have this amount, and I already have it. But then there's different stories, guys. I'm also just learning. So there's different stories of like people saying sometimes they pay only a certain amount, then you have to pay the rest. I remember another lady told me that her excess was like 7.4, but then she had to pay an additional 10,000 because her insurance was not covering for certain things. So you need to understand, what are they covering, what are they not covering. I'm about to change my insurance actually, And now I'm the type that wants to sit down with the person and they do this step by step with me. Like A is for apple, B is for banana, C is for crash. I need someone like that because I need to understand what I'm getting myself into. Because at the end of the day, you sign up with this insurance and they cover your car. You go into an accident, they're like, no, we don't cover accidents. Oh no, then what do you cover? Sometimes they don't even offer you a car to use while your car is being repaired and stuff like that. So you need to understand what are you joining. You need to understand. You can tell them slow down. You can tell them I want to sleep on it. You don't have to rush because you can't take your car without insurance. Hey, so you don't have to rush to go fetch your car. You don't have to rush. Even if you do your offer to purchase, they do everything, you're happy with it, but you're still struggling with the insurance, tell them to hold on, you're going to take the car. Or if they want to, they can sell it. You can go to another dealership and find the same car with the same price. You know what I mean? So you don't have to panic. You don't have to stress. Take your time. I was kind of like in a hurry because I wanted to like drive to work and I couldn't expect people to go drop me at work. I couldn't be taking taxi because obviously where I work is another area and I live like in another area, so it's kind of like far. So to say I'm gonna get to work at the right time was like, yeah, I was dreaming basically. It was like a dream. So yeah, guys, please make sure that you take your time. One thing I can say, do not rush. Take your time. Do not rush. Take your time. Take your time. This thing about about buying like an old car as your first car, I'm not really a fan of it. Yeah, like I'm not really a fan. Like I'm not about to take a car that has like so many kilometers for like an expensive price just because you don't want your first car to be in accidents and all of that. Like I'm not that type of person. So I was just like, I'm gonna get my car from the dealership, and yeah, and my car was like a demo car because I got it at 12,000 kilometers. At 15,000 kilometers I had to go service it, and I didn't pay anything because my insurance was not my insurance. Okay, remember when I said that there's like stuff that are added to your car when you go purchase it? So one of them was my service plan. So my service plan was actually on my offer to purchase additions, so it was added on, right? So I ended up not paying anything. They did call me though because I was at work. I dropped the car, then I went to work. Then they did call me to say, hey, your car has like the windscreen has cracked. And I was like, I haven't seen any cracks on my windscreen, so what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, when we were assessing the car, we saw that there was a windscreen crack. And I was like, no, leave it. When I got my car, there's no windscreen crack, and I asked the driver that's driving my car to drop my car, is there a windscreen crack? Check it. So these people are really trying to capitalize. So if you can service your car when you're off, so that when they say there's a crack, you say point it, you call them, that's a kai. So they wanted to add like an additional 300 rand or something like that to like fix the small crack on my window, and I'm just like, there's no crack on my windows, guys. Like, what are you trying to do? And I was at work, yeah, bro. So there's a lot to consider. I'm also just trying to balance my finances. I'm not the best in it. I'm literally watching all Financial Bunny, Nicolette Mashila. I even have a book. I'm really trying to manage my finances because soon enough I'll be wanting to get a house or an apartment or stuff like that. So these things do affect your like the potential of you getting a house. They do affect these things. So if you're gonna get a car that's too expensive that you can't pay like on time every month, it's gonna reflect bad on your credit score, and you're gonna end up not being able to purchase the house via the bank. Okay, so you need to be careful, guys. You need to be careful that you're buying a car that you do afford. If you can get a second hand that is good enough for you, perfect, get the car, get insurance. Yeah, I know a friend of mine that actually put aside a lot of deposit, and now she's paying around like 2,000 per month for her car, and then she's like paying an extra 1,000 rand for her insurance, and she's driving a really great car. It's like an Audi A4, something like that. Audi something though, but those small cars with 2 doors, I think. Yes. So it depends. If you do have like money to deposit, then place your deposit. Another thing that I noticed, I didn't want, oh guys, this video is like there and then, I'm so sorry about that. I'm going to try and cover as much as I can, but if I don't, please do comment below, then I'll answer what I did or what I think. Okay, I'm not an expert in these things. So what was I going to say? So I was going to say at this point that I didn't want a balloon deposit. If you don't know what a balloon deposit is, please make sure to research or ask your salesman about it. It's very important, guys. So you have to consider like saving money for your maintenance of the car, and you have to keep money for in case you need to go to the garage, they fix certain stuff. Even now I'm thinking I need to go fix my tires at the garage because I'm not one to do my tires myself. So because the rim looks like it's coming off, so I'm just worried that I'll be driving one day and then it falls off, then I never see it again. So I want them to go like plug them back in again, because my mom drove my car to Eastern Cape, then I drove back from Eastern Cape. So I think that long distance really made my tires fat, so now the rim looks like it's coming off and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what's going on there. You see, getting a car and you don't know the terms, and child, it's a lot. These things can really affect your whole financial life. They really affect it. And even if you're planning to do certain things, it gets affected, because it's like you're still paying for this debt, and now you want to get a house. You know, I'm renting because I want to see if I'm able to kind of like consistently pay every month. So by the time I get my own place, now I'm seeing, okay, I do have like a few thousand rands left from after I've rented, so maybe I can still afford like a bond that's between certain like amounts, you know. But I'm also thinking, how about raising the money that I'm paying my car monthly, so I can finish it earlier, then I can then get my house or get an apartment, you know what I mean? So yeah, guys, that has been my journey of purchasing a car. If I've left out anything, I'm trying not to make this video as long, but I'm really trying to cut certain stuff. But there was a lot really that happened. I really needed like people's opinions. I needed to dig my own research, like make sure I understand exactly what I'm doing. I'm one person that doesn't want to have debt, so I had to make sure that I understand. I had to make sure that I do understand. I was not willing to just like let it slide, or the person has said this or that. I would ask, how much petrol do you think I need to put in this car per month? I would ask, how much do you think changing the tires would cost? I would ask like literally all the questions that you think are dumb. I would ask those questions because I need to know if I'm affording this car or not. And if I don't take it, simply. Otherwise, guys, that's it for my video. Please do make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment down below. And if I did miss anything, please just make sure to comment down below. I don't know the terms and all these things dealing with cars and stuff, but I will try and answer. And also, if you guys want, if you're in Cape Town and you want a car and you're looking for a possible dealership, I would really recommend is it auto pedigree? Yes, in Plumstead. I was helped by a guy called Anele. I'm going to show you guys his card. You can take a screen grab. So this is his card. You guys can take a screen grab. So if you guys are looking for a car and you're not sure where to look and all of that, I recommend this guy because he helped me, shame guys. And yeah, he put Anele. I said put Anele. He'd be like, let me call someone, let me, you know, he'd pull strings, call this one, call that one, let me call my manager, you know. And I eventually got what I wanted, you know. So yeah, guys, I chose a white color because I felt like it was easy to maintain, but like that you also have to consider as well, you know. But yeah, that's all for my video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I see that we are really a growing family. love to see it from you. Sure. Okay, please do make sure to see me on the following video. I love you guys. Bye.